My name is Emily, and I am 35 years old. When I married him, he had nothing, no car, no house, no money, but I loved him. Or at least I thought I did. I met Daniel when I was 25. He was charming, funny, and had a way of making me feel like the most important person in the world. He didn't have much, but he had dreams, big dreams. He promised that one day he would give me everything I ever wanted. I believed him. Our love was passionate and wild. We spent hours talking about our future, laughing about silly things, and dreaming about the life we would build together. My friends warned me, my family tried to stop me, but I didn't listen. I was blinded by love. We got married in a small ceremony, and I moved in with him into a tiny, one-bedroom apartment with broken furniture and leaking ceilings. I didn't care. I told myself that love was enough. But love doesn't pay the bills. Reality hit me like a truck after the honeymoon phase faded. Daniel had no job, no ambition, and no real plans for the future. Every day, I woke up hoping he would get up and do something. But he didn't. Instead, he spent hours watching TV, playing video games, and hanging out with his friends. I was the one who worked, who paid the bills, who struggled to keep things together. I took extra shifts, skipped meals to save money, and lied to my parents when they asked how we were doing. I didn't want them to say, "We told you so." The worst part? He didn't care. He didn't even notice how tired I was, how broken I felt. Every time I confronted him, he had excuses. I just need a little more time. Things will change, I promise. I'll start looking for a job next week. But next week never came. Months turned into years, and nothing changed. He was the same careless, lazy man I had married, and I was drowning in responsibilities. Then I found out I was pregnant. For the first time in years, I saw a spark in his eyes. He promised to be a better man, a better husband, a good father. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him, but the change never came. I worked until the last days of my pregnancy while he continued his usual routine of doing nothing. When our daughter Lily was born, I thought maybe, just maybe, he would step up. But he didn't. I was a mother, a worker, a cook, a cleaner, everything. And he was still the same, useless. One night, I came home late from work. I was exhausted. My feet ached, my back hurt, and all I wanted was to see my baby. But as soon as I walked through the door, I saw Daniel and his friends drinking, laughing, and making a mess of our already tiny home. Lily was crying in her crib, alone, ignored. Something inside me snapped. I screamed at him for the first time in years. I told him I was done, that I couldn't do this anymore. But he just laughed. "You're overreacting," he said. "Relax, have a drink." That night, I realized something. I had married a mistake. But where would I go? My parents had warned me, my friends had distanced themselves, and I had no savings because everything I earned went into keeping us afloat. And Lily, I didn't want her to grow up without a father, even if he was a terrible one. I stayed for years. I watched my youth slip away. My dreams faded. My heart hardened. As Lily grew older, she began to notice things. She saw how her father did nothing while I did everything. She would ask me, "Mommy, why doesn't Daddy help us?" And I never had an answer. Daniel's laziness turned into neglect. He missed Lily's school events, forgot her birthdays, and barely spoke to her. She stopped asking for his attention, and it broke my heart to see my daughter grow up without the love of a father. I worked harder than ever, picking up extra jobs to make sure she had a good life. I wanted to leave Daniel, but every time I tried, he would manipulate me. "You'll never survive without me. No one else will love you. Think about Lily. She needs a father." I believed his lies for too long. Then one night, everything changed. I came home to find Daniel drunk, yelling at Lily for something ridiculous. She was just a child, trembling in fear, and that was the moment I knew I couldn't let this continue. I packed our bags that night. I took Lily, left the apartment, and never looked back. It wasn't easy. I struggled, I cried, I doubted myself. But for the first time in years, I felt free. I found a small job, a tiny apartment, and started rebuilding my life. Daniel tried to get me back. He called, he begged, he promised to change, but I had heard those words too many times before. I refused to let him drag me down again. Years have passed since that night. Lily is older now, and she's growing into a strong, beautiful young woman. She understands why we left, and she respects me for it. As for me, I found happiness. I built a life for myself without Daniel. I learned that love isn't just about feelings. It's about respect, effort, and mutual support. Looking back, I regret marrying him, but I don't regret leaving him, because now I am free.